morning, campers. Welcome to day 3 of our Bahamas basketball virtual camp. Today we'll be focusing on defense, and we'll put in a little bit of shooting at the end also. So with that being said, let's get down to it. For our first defensive drill, we're going to work on our defensive slides and our defensive stance. So with our defensive stance, we want to get our feet wide, almost as wide as we would with our athletic stance. A defensive stance is pretty much the same as our athletic stance. So we're going to hinge at the hips, bend our knees, get our shoulders down so we're nice and athletic. We can get our hands out as a deterrent. If I got a defender driving one way, I might dig with this hand. If he goes this way, I might dig with this hand. So right now we want to be able to sit into this space underneath us, and we want to go push steps, okay? So we want to push off this outside foot and step. Push, step. Same thing going the opposite way. Push, step, right? Making sure that we're not bouncing up and down. Make sure that we're not leaning side to side. And make sure that we're not bringing our feet together, okay? When we bring our feet together, we go off balance. So when someone makes a quick change of direction, it's very hard for you to keep up, or you might fall. That's how people usually get crossed, but especially if you cross your feet, that's even worse. But there is actually a time where you do need to cross your feet, but we won't get into that. So we're going to go push steps, 5 each way. That's 1 rep. We're going to go 10 reps each way, or you can go for time. Next, we're going to go into our foot fire. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back down in our defensive stance, nice and low, feet wide. You can have your hands out if you want. Your hands are a good deterrent against offensive players, but know that you cannot use your hands to play defense. A lot of times referees will let us get away with a little hand check in there, but the rule book does not allow you to use your hands to play defense. So if you do have your hand on somebody, they're liable to take it away, all right? They can slap it away if they want without it being a foul, because you cannot use your hands. The rule book says that you can only use as wide as your feet and as far back as your butt to play defense. Anything outside that imaginary cylinder is illegal defense. So once you start putting your hands out like this and you touch somebody, that is an automatic foul. It just is let go. So right now we want to go foot fire. So it'll be here, and we're just going to go quick on our feet, and then you're going to turn. Turn. All right? Going to go through that. I usually will go through this for 30 seconds or so. You can choose how you want to do it. You can go for reps or you can go for time. It's all up to you. Next defensive drill we have, we're going to put our foot fire together with our defensive slides. All right? So we're going to go down. We're going to go foot fire as fast as we can. Then we're going to turn our foot at a 45-degree angle. We're going to take 2 slides. So we're going to push, step. All right? We're going to run back, foot fire, foot push, step, run back. And the same thing, okay? Going to go through that for about a minute. Or you could go for reps, it's totally up to you, but I would prefer time. Next up, we're going to add a turn and sprint into our foot fire with our defensive slides. So sometimes when you're playing defense, an offensive player might get by you. There's good offensive players, he might get a good shift, get you kneeling one way, and then he might go the next way and he might blow right by you. So if he gets by you, especially in the open court, you got to be able to drop his foot, turn, sprint. Okay? So what we're going to do right now, we're going to go back, same thing, foot fire. We're going to turn, sprint, 1, 2, break down into our stance, 1, 2. Then we're going to run back, same thing, break it down, turn, sprint, 1, 2, side, slide, right back. All right? We're going to go through this for about 30 seconds to a minute, or you could go for reps. Again, up to you. For our last defensive drill, we have closeouts. So what we're going to do, Gonna be hitting our foot fire again. Gonna run, chop our feet, hands up. We're gonna slide back. Gonna go again, foot fire, run, chop our feet, slide back. All right. When we do this, make sure that you run out and about halfway to 3/4 of the way. You want to shorten your steps and start to chop your feet. You want to close out right now with both hands up, just for the purpose of the drill. You won't always do that, but we also want to make sure when we do this, that when we close out, we're not turning our body like this, okay? Because now you're giving the offensive player a lane to the basket, or you're giving him a foot to which he can attack and go the opposite way. Now you have to turn and drop, which is very hard to recover from, especially if it's a good player who knows how to stop and go. So we're going to go through this for about a minute, or you can go for reps, completely up to you. So for our first drill of our shooting segment, we're going to go into form shooting. So what we're going to do, we're going to come within 5 feet of our basket, going to line up our shooting hand with the center of the basket. So with this, we want to have our feet wide, at least hip width. You can get it a little wide if you want, but we don't want our feet close together because this is going to affect our balance, which in turn is going to affect our consistency with our shot. Okay, you might make 1 or 2 shots, but it's going to be really hard for you to be able to repeat that over and over. So right now we're going to get our feet wide. We want to get the center of our hand on the middle of the ball. So when you hear that, a lot of times people think it's middle finger. For 90% of people, it's not. It's usually an index finger. So for some people, it is middle finger, but most it'll be an index. So if you measure the space between your index and your thumb, and your index and your pinky, it's usually the same space. Okay? So we're going to go. I like to use this little air hole as a guide. I put my finger over the air hole and get my finger in the seams. Get my hand on the side of the ball, somewhat to the top. You don't want it to be too far to the side because then you don't have much surface area, which is why sometimes you might realize when you shoot off the dribble and the ball slips out of your hand because you're not covering enough surface area with the ball. Putting your hand close to the top of the ball once it's not too far won't affect your shot because you have your wrist that'll bend backwards when you shoot. Okay, so as you shoot, it'll push through that. So right now we're just going to set our hands, bend at the waist a little bit. We're going to shoot, form shot. All right. Going to go get a little bit of legs into it, work on flowing our shot. Go, shoot. Okay. So when we do this, we want to get maybe 50 reps. I like to go for time. I would spend maybe 30 minutes on this. And what you can do is you can start challenging yourself by making swishes. So once you make 10 swishes in a row from here, you can take a step back, make 10 swishes in a row, take another step back, 10 more swishes, and you can keep doing that. And when you know that you can do that, you know that you've perfected your technique and your shot, and then you will really see results in your shooting. So again, you can go for time or you can go for reps. It's up to you. Next for our shooting drills, we have shotgun shots. So all we're going to do, going to get in our athletic stance again. Going to grab the ball with 2 hands, bring it over our head, and we're going to slide it down as hard as we could. When we do this, we want a foot replace right into our shot. Now on our foot replacement, we don't want to be on the floor very long. We don't want to let our heels touch, and we want to pop right back up as soon as our feet hit. So it'll look kind of like this. You go up, slap, boom, and you go right into your shot. Okay, if you don't have a rim, just shoot go shots. That's perfectly fine. So again, it's going to look like this. right into your shot. Okay? You can go through this for about 20, 30 reps, or you can go for time. You can add reps if you want, that's perfectly fine. So next up, we have machine gun shots. So this is very similar to our shotgun shots, just gonna tire out ourselves a little bit more. So this is a good way to practice shooting fatigue shots. You don't have to run up and down to be fatigued to shoot shots. This is a great way to do that, to simulate that without having to run up and down. So same thing, athletic stance. This time, instead of just pounding once, we're gonna pound it 3 times, and then get into our foot replacement shot. So it'll be here, foot replace on the last one, into the shot. Okay, so a little faster again. If you don't have a basket, shoot ghost shots. So again, it'll be shot. Okay, go again, 10 to 20 reps, 30 reps, 40 reps, 50 reps, whatever you want, time, and that's fine. Next up, we got our speed stop shot breakdowns. So remember, all the speed stop is usually when we dribble off our inside foot, we be able to stop on that next step and get into our shot. Doesn't necessarily have to be into a shot, but we're working on our shooting right now. So what we'll do is stand with our dribble foot, which is our inside foot, in line with the chair or our box table, whatever we want to use. We're gonna take a few dribbles. All right, then when we're ready, we're gonna dribble, touch the chair, step into our space, and shoot the ball. Okay, same thing on the opposite side. Inside foot forward, gonna dribble, touch, step into that shot. So what this is doing, this is forcing us to pick up the ball later. Usually when players practice shooting, what they do, because they know that they're gonna shoot, they dribble right here, and they pick up the ball here like this, and now they take away a lot of their options. So now a defender can start to close out earlier, and you can't get out of that position. So we want to be able to pick up the ball on our last step. So we want to be able to go here, come into this space, and pick up on that last step. That'll also give us a little bit of a better flow into our shot. Also, if a defender jumps that, we can always get out of it because we haven't picked up our dribble yet. So we can always have this option here, go here, then get right up. Okay, same thing on the opposite side. We step, we can always get out of that, okay? So we're giving ourselves options. We don't want to limit ourselves. Once you start to get good at this, you can start to take a step back. You can start with your ball side foot forward, take a step back like I said, and you can take a dribble step and step right into it. Same thing going the opposite way, ball side foot forward, dribble step, and step right into it, okay? So chairs are good also because it's forcing you to get your shoulders down and stay low. A lot of times also when players practice shooting, especially off the dribble, they stand straight up, which isn't game night. In a game, 9 times out of 10, you won't be dribbling like this and shoot. Usually, you'll be low, driving, and you have to get up into your shot. So these chairs are a good way to force you to get low. Gonna go through this, 10 to 20 reps each side, or you can go for time. And like I said, once you get better at it, you can start progressing through it. You can even start to come into a full sprint off your dribble and shoot it if you want. That's perfectly fine. Let's get it. For our last workout of the day, we're gonna go into our inverted speed stops. And anytime you hear inverted, that usually just means backwards or reverse. So we talked about speed stops, where we would take that dribble step on our inside foot and step in and pick up on that next step. On an inverted speed stop, it kind of throws the defender off balance, because what happens is we go dribble step, we take this step like we're still going, and then we pick up on the next step. So what a defender usually is looking for is for you to take a dribble step, motion step, dribble step. So we kind of throwing his timing off. He's not usually expecting that. So it's dribble step, motion step, into our shot, all right? So that's an inverted speed stop. Same thing going the next way. Dribble step, step, in, okay? So a lot of coaches teach this as it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong. I feel like there's always situations for this. Like I said, when you play at higher levels, you have to be able to have different things and different options, right? You got to be able to get into your bag, as most people would say. So right now we're going to go, we have our chairs again. We're going to start with our dribble, ball side foot forward. And we're just going to go. We're going to take it as dribble, boom, touch, go, okay? So same again, right into that shot. Same thing going the opposite way, dribble, boom. Right, but we want to get that dribble at the same time as our hit. So it's into the shot. And once, same as in your speed stops, once you get more advanced with it, you can take a step back. Now you'll start with your dribble foot forward, and you'll just go, you'll take that dribble, boom, 1, 2, into your shot. So on this one, you wouldn't hit the box the same time as your dribble. You would hit it after you dribble. More so when you take that first step. So again, your dribble foot will be forward, 1, 2, pick up. Same thing going the next way, dribble foot forward, 1, 2, pick up, okay? So this, again, is forcing you to pick up the ball at the last second. We don't want you to have to pick it up early, because you know what you're doing in the drill. So that's very easy to cheat it without even knowing it. So again, 10 to 20 reps each way, or you could go for time. So today, we worked on our defense, we worked on our shooting. If you haven't realized by now, we're putting a lot of emphasis on little details, especially in your footwork and your hand placements and those type of things, because those things are important. Details matter, they matter, okay? So with that being said, that concludes day 3 of our workout. We hope to see you tomorrow.